welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Hope Taylor and I am a photographer serving both Charleston and Savannah, and this YouTube channel is where I share education for photographers as well as a little bit of a peek into my life living in the Low Country. And these next few weeks and last week we are talking about spokesmodel teams. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, then I am a senior portrait photographer. We'll take a few steps back in time, and I started my business when I was a senior in high school myself. So I have been photographing seniors now for almost a decade, and seniors have been the core piece of my business for that entire 10 years. The first 3 years of my business, I did nothing except photographing high school seniors. That was like literally everything that I did. And so I have a really unique perspective on senior photography, and it's also just my favorite thing ever. It's what I teach about, it's what I shoot the most often, and it's the type of work that I love the most in my photography business. And one of the ways that I grew the senior photography side of my business, especially back at the beginning, was through strategic spokesmodel teams. And a spokesmodel team is a group of high school seniors that represents your business for the entirety of their senior year. And typically there's an incentives and requirements structure where they have incentives to work with you for their whole senior year, like group shoots and events and discounted rates on senior portraits and prints and products. And then the requirements are typically things like sharing their images on social media and referring their friends to your business. And it's just a really smart and strategic way to get integrated into your local senior communities and your local high schools in order to grow that business based on word of mouth referrals. So today what I want to talk about is 3 things that I would do differently with my spokesmodel teams in 2022. But before I dive in, I have a free gift for you in the description down below, and it is my spokesmodel application. I'm giving away the exact application that I use for my senior spokesmodels to you just to say thank you for tuning in. And it also includes a small guide that talks you through a little bit more about spokesmodel teams, why I use this application, why I ask the types of questions that I ask, and you can literally copy and paste it and use it in your own business. And there's no catch, literally 100% free. Hundreds of photographers have downloaded this and used it in their businesses. So grab a copy of that at the link in the description. But what we're going to talk about today, like I mentioned, is the 3 things that I would do differently with my spokesmodel team in 2022, because I actually haven't had a spokesmodel team for a few years now, only because I've been moving. I moved to Charleston, and then before I could get settled in Charleston, I moved to Savannah. So I've been all over the place and just not in one place long enough to have time to do a spokesmodel team, but I have done it 5 times. I've done it for 5 years consecutively back when I lived in Northern Virginia, and it's something that I know and love very, very well. But there are some things that I would do differently now that I've been in business for a decade, and now that I'm a couple years removed from the last time that I did a spokesmodel team. In retrospect, hindsight's always 20/20, right? There's a few things I would do differently, and I wanted to share that with you today because I think that it would be helpful to hear that input from somebody who has been a photographer for 10 years and who has done this many, many times, and what I would do differently in the current market and in the current photography industry. So these things that I would do differently with my spokesmodel team are really things that change the back-end organization of having a spokesmodel team and my ability to communicate to my spokesmodel team well and set really realistic expectations. One of the hardest things about having a spokesmodel team that I experienced and that I hear from other photographers, especially those inside my Spokesmodel 101 course, the things I hear often are that they're having a hard time with seniors actually participating and engaging with the shoots and the activities that they're hosting. They're getting backlash on some of the expectations or seniors not following through with what they signed on in their contract. And they're just feeling a little frustrated that the seniors are not just engaging with the team in the way that they expected or that they said that they would. And so these 3 things that I would do differently in 2022 offset some of those miscommunications and allow for you as the photographer to have a team that's organized and excited, and that allows you to have really consistent work-life balance and allows for the spokesmodels to have a better experience because you have communicated expectations to them and given them really clear instructions. So that's what the 3 things kind of are that I want to talk about today. So the first thing that I would do differently in 2022 with my spokesmodel teams is that I would have a very well-written, well-rounded, very long and all-inclusive welcome packet and spokesmodel guide that I would send to my spokesmodels. In the past, I didn't do this. I had a welcome meeting with them where I talked through my expectations, kind of talked them through what the spokesmodel team was and what to expect and how it worked, but I didn't have any written documents that, aside from a contract, but that's more of a legal document. I didn't have any type of welcome packet or document that gave them clear expectations and helpful tools for their entirety of being on the spokesmodel team. And what I've learned after 10 years in business, just across the board, is the more hoops that you make people jump through and the harder you make your requests for them to complete, the less likely they will be to do them, right? So I would provide my spokesmodels with a guide that's a welcome packet, talks them through how excited I am and what they can expect from being a part of the team, walks them through kind of what the events are going to look like, what the shoots are going to look like, what they need to do to be prepared, what to wear to the shoots, and all of those things. But I would also give them some helpful tools to help me grow my business. If my goal with my spokesmodel team is for them to help me scale my business and talk about my business in their communities, I want to give them the tools that they need to do that. So maybe I'm giving them some pre-written Instagram captions that they can just copy and paste. Maybe I'm giving them messages and emails that they can send their peers that give an incentive for their peers to book me. Maybe I'm giving them a cheat sheet for what some past shoots looked like and how they can prepare, and some hair and makeup artist recommendations. I'm wanting to make it as easy as possible for them to be a really good spokesmodel, right? To know what to post and when to post it, and the best times of day to share on social media, and how to know which images will be really well received by their audience. I want to give them as much as I can to make the marketing side of being a spokesmodel as easy as possible. So I would create and give some type of welcome guide and resource to help make the process easier for them. The second thing that I would do differently in 2022 is something that's really only going to apply to you if you have been photographing seniors for your business in a long time, or if you've had past spokesmodel teams. But I've learned after so many years of having a team that some of my best spokesmodels that are just most excited to be a part of the team and who end up being really engaged and really excited about everything are people that were direct referrals from girls who were on my past spokesmodel teams. I've just learned that if they've learned about the experience and seen the entire spokesmodel experience firsthand because their friend was on the team, they're way more excited about the entire experience and kind of already come into it with more accurate expectations of what it's going to be like. And so if I were to do a spokesmodel team right now in 2022, which I'm not because I'm about to get married and there's lots going on, but if I were going to, I would base who I chose as my spokesmodels first on who the past team and my past senior clients recommend. I would literally have a workflow in place where I asked all of my current spokesmodels to give me recommendations of girls that were in the class below them that they felt like would make incredible spokesmodels, and I would reach out to them and allow those people to apply to the spokesmodel team first. Because it feels like a service to your current spokesmodel team that you're giving them this opportunity to kind of be the first to know who's going to be asked to be on the next year's team. And you know that you're getting really excited, ideal clients for your future spokesmodel team based off of referrals from girls you already trust, or girls and guys if you do co-ed teams. So I would have that workflow in place where I'm really taking the time to learn about who their friends are in the junior class and why those girls might be the best fit for the team, and give them unique opportunities to apply before I open applications up to everybody else. And again, I've just learned that those people are the most excited, most primed, most ideal clients I could ask for, because they're usually friends with the girls I've already chosen who are already ideal clients that I love. So I would definitely implement a workflow for that to make the process easier on me and get girls that really love the idea of being on the team. And number 3 is something that I've mentioned on this channel before and that I did start doing with my spokesmodel teams towards the end, but that is that I would schedule every single event, shoot, and get together ahead of time before I ever even opened up spokesmodel applications, and communicate those dates to my spokesmodels before they even apply. One of the biggest pain points that I experienced and that other photographers are experiencing with spokesmodel teams is that getting availability aligned for yourself as the photographer with 10, 15, 20, 25 high school senior girls is nearly impossible. So naturally, there's going to be people who can't attend certain events, and that's totally okay. But if you communicate those dates ahead of time, then the pressure is off of you for maybe not communicating it soon enough, and you know that a girl who's applying to your Spokesmodel team already knows, okay, if I apply, I'm going to have to miss these 2 shoots. Do I still want to apply and pay for it? That decision is then on them and not on you to refund them money when they pay you and join the team and then find out the types of shoots that they're having to miss out on. So communicate those dates up front with the hopes that the girls will make time for it, they will check their availability ahead of time, and they will come into the experience of being on your team with accurate expectations of which events they can and can't attend. And it also just saves your sanity from trying to schedule events in the middle of the year for 3 weeks ahead of time and trying to coordinate availability with that many people. Just pick the dates ahead of time based on your availability and communicate them as early on in the process as you can. So I hope this was helpful. Like I mentioned earlier, there's a free gift in the description below if you want to download my exact Spokesmodel application and see a little bit of a peek into what that process looks like for me. In the description, free gift to you. I would love for you to get your hands on that. I would also love for you to subscribe. I post new videos every single week, just like this one, helping photographers build their businesses. And my goal is to hit 10,000 subscribers this year, so it would seriously mean the world to me. But until next week, thank you so much for watching. Bye, y'all.